welcome back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. Welcome to my beautiful returning subscribers. As always, you guys are amazing. Of course you are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your support of each other in the comments section especially. I read the comments. I don't get a chance to respond to all of them, but I really appreciate the type of support that you guys offer one another, because that was my hope for this channel in the first place, was to provide a space where we have like-minded energy, where we can come and support each other through whatever we're dealing with here, because I believe that we're all just here to walk each other home. So thank you so much for your presence and for your support of each other especially. But if you're new to the channel here, please join us, pull up a chair, get cozy, and I do pick a card readings on this channel. So everybody is a friend when we gather here together. We're going to have a little chat today. And if you are new to the channel, I do offer a chance for my subscribers to win a free video reading from me. So be sure to drop your comment below and hit your notification bell under any of my videos this month for your chance to win. And if you are chosen the winner, I will be notifying you underneath your comment with giving you clear instructions on how to connect with me so we can get the ball rolling. So if you have recently left a comment, be sure to check your notifications and see if I have notified you as one of my winners. I'm waiting to hear back from one of my winners. So for today's pick a card topic, we are looking at the last time the person on your mind saw you. What were they thinking? What were they feeling in that moment? We have 3 piles to choose from today. Pile number 1 here with the Justice and the little white cream flower. Pile number 2 with the Page of Swords and the dusty rose sort of flower. And pile number 3 with the Temperance and the yellow flower. So whichever pile or piles are calling out to you, there may be a message waiting today from Spirit. And my timestamps are listed below. I'm going to jump right into pile number 1. Again, it's all about the last time the person on your mind saw you. What were their thoughts and what were their feelings? And this could be perhaps a long time ago. Maybe they just saw you yesterday. But what were they thinking? What were they feeling the last time that they saw you? Pile 1. Hello, pile number 1, you were drawn to the little cream flower or to the Justice card, and this is your reading. The last time that you saw your person or that your person saw you, what were they thinking? What were they feeling? The Justice here, you can see she's seated on this stone chair of some kind. The Justice can speak about a work connection. It's number 8 here in this particular tarot deck. So this could be someone that saw you in their work realm, or perhaps you guys worked together, but they may have seen you while they were working or while you were working. And there's something about position that's an issue and a truth that they were feeling. It's like the Justice speaks about the truth of the situation. Sometimes we avoid the truth. Sometimes we're passive when it comes to articulating the truth, but there's something about a truth that really hit them in that moment. I also feel like for someone watching, again, there could have been an aspect of seeing you in the workplace or you seeing them in the workplace perhaps. But there's this aspect of trying to maintain my balance while I saw you. It's like trying to maintain my position. And perhaps even you can see she's acting like she's sitting in a very relaxed position. So they could have perhaps been trying to act really nonchalant. Maybe they didn't acknowledge that they saw you. So let's take a look here and see about pile number 1, please. The last time they saw you, what were they thinking? What were they feeling? Please remember that I'm dealing with collective energy. So if this doesn't resonate with you, you can try a different pile or a different reading. What were they thinking and feeling the last time they saw you? The Empress coming out first. That's a beautiful place to start. But there you can see she's covered in pomegranates. The Empress is everything beautiful about the divine feminine, and it has nothing to do with gender. It's all about energy. So you can be the divine masculine, of course, watching this reading, but it's just about attraction and about how you deserve every good thing. And her, again, she's covered in pomegranates because perhaps of a temptation that you represented in that moment, a temptation that they perhaps had to be passive about because of their position. So I just saw the Knight of Pentacles. So they may have been working or in the middle of some sort of responsibility when they did see you the last time. We have the Star because you felt out of reach. And it made them feel exceptionally vulnerable in that moment too, because they felt like it was like a perfect opportunity, but wasted potential. Like they could have been dreaming about this moment, but it's like it didn't come in the way that they thought it would come in, or it didn't manifest the way that they hoped it would, because it made them feel really vulnerable. Because there's something about you that is up on this huge pedestal, and they either don't put themselves up on that pedestal, or they feel like there's no way they could possibly reach that pedestal. We have the Hanged Man. I feel like the last time they saw you, they either didn't say anything or they felt like they couldn't say anything. It's like my hands are tied. It's like I wanted to say something. I was thinking about saying something. I even feel like this person has sort of created a plan in their mind about what they would say and how they would say it if they got the opportunity to see you. But I don't feel like they said anything about it. I feel like they held back a lot. Their hands tied behind their back. And it's not that they couldn't have said something. It's that they chose not to, perhaps. Because they keep talking about a wasted opportunity when they saw you last. I wasted an opportunity. And there's already 3 major arcanic themes, which means that this moment for this person was an important moment. It influenced many sort of themes in their life. It was an important moment for them. It wasn't just a passing fancy and they haven't thought about it again. They've thought about this a lot, actually, since the last time they saw you. And they feel kind of frustrated with how the action that they didn't take. That's what I keep hearing. The action I didn't take, I'm frustrated with myself and I feel like there's nothing I can do about it now. It's like I missed that opportunity, or I wasted that opportunity to talk to you, to say something, and I didn't take it. So now I'm really, really frustrated with myself. And I feel like they're trying to learn from that frustration, because they're like, the next time I'm taking action. The next time I don't care about the consequences, I'm taking action. And that's what they're really thinking about, is the next time I want to make sure that I don't waste this opportunity. Because to be honest with you, seeing you again thrust them on this beach. They had so many truths that they had sort of prepared for themselves or wanted to express to you, and they didn't. And so then now, like, I have all of these truths that I want to say to you, and they're stuck in my back, my empowerment with them, and I can't see the forest of the trees because I'm sort of frustrated with myself and emotionally having this response to my position. It's like they couldn't access you in that moment. You felt very much out of their league. Here's the 6 of Pentacles, there's the 10 of Cups. And I feel like there was so much they wished that they could say to kind of clarify something or to bring something into the light, but they felt like they could not because of their position. So they could have been at work. Also, I will say the Justice and the 6 of Pentacles can talk about perhaps you or they weren't alone, but it has something to do with karmic relationships in that last time that they saw you. We have the 7 of Cups. We also have the King of Swords reversed. And they are talking about how they were intentionally cold, or they intentionally held back any sort of clarity in that moment. They may have even sort of avoided eye contact, or they may have avoided looking in your direction when you were looking. They didn't want to make it obvious that they had seen you. There's a really strong Libra energy with this person. Also have Aquarius here, Virgo. And for someone watching, the Divine Empress may not have been alone, because that was part of the reason why they were intentionally quiet, was that they felt like you had options, or they felt like you weren't alone. And so that confused them about how you felt, or the way that you carried yourself, or the company you were in, made them second guess their feelings or their truth in some way. They thought it wouldn't be smart or logical to come towards you and talk to you in that moment the last time that they saw you. There's the Star of Aquarius. And in that moment, there was something revealing about that moment, perhaps because someone wasn't alone, or because of just the intensity of their feeling in that moment. A truth hit them pretty harshly, that made them feel like you are not available, or you're unachievable. It's like they can't reach you. You're a wish that can't be granted, because they felt really stuck. And they are, again, they're kicking themselves now, because they're like, I put myself in this position. Even with the last time I saw them, I could have reacted. I could have spoken to them. I could have taken some sort of action and faced the consequences of that, but I didn't. And in the moment, they told themselves they couldn't. But the truth is that they were just giving into fear. It wasn't that they couldn't. It was that they were conflicted about how they would walk away from that interaction unscathed, because they were very self-preserving when it comes to the internalized conflict, and why they internalized it and didn't bring forward any information towards you. We have the Lovers. And the truth is, look at both of these people. They're both dressed up like rabbits. The rabbit for me is the Page of Wands, who are equally explorative. They both want to go charging down a new path of exploration, but we can't because of position. And I feel like that was highlighted in a very obvious way the last time that they saw you, was the impediments or whatever the obstacles are in achieving more here. Something devastated them because they recognize that maybe you're not single, or maybe you have other obstacles on your plate, or maybe you're a parent, or maybe they're confused about your availability, or confused about whether or not you're able to give them the desires of their heart, because they've had their ego really transfixed upon you. And now they're recognizing that in order for any sort of successful outcome to even come close to working, they're going to have to make some pretty drastic decisions and take some pretty practical steps in a really assured way towards you. Three of Wands. We also have the Four of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles. Now, the last time that they saw you, I feel like there definitely was some type of position issue. And when I talk about position issues, I am talking about the work realm. I'm talking about home realms as well. It's any position that we walk into willingly, and we sort of hand over our power a little bit in those positions. Because what you did, they felt like they have to put a guard up against what they did see the last time. It's like they have to guard their heart. They have to guard their heart because they feel like you're not attainable, and that hurts. They have to guard their heart because they're trying to protect an environment that they've invested in as well. And so they're kind of thrown between want and logic after seeing you the last time, because their logic tells them it's impossible. Their want says, but I don't care. I want it anyway. I don't care. I want expansion anyway. What are the consequences to my action? Because there are some really strong, harsh realities in the 3D situation right now that we can't ignore. And so that's why they retreated the last time that they saw you. What were they thinking and feeling the last time they saw pile number 1, please? Danger, especially in money matters, and they held their boundaries. I think about the King of Swords or the Queen of Swords and air elements with the bear. It's about holding our ground and having to maintain our boundaries, not because of money matters, but because of practical concerns, because of the work realm, because of the home realm. And immediately, when they saw you the last time, all it did was really double down in their belief of who you are and how important this connection could be to them. But it scares them at the same time because it threatens their practical realm. We have here dealings or relationship with a woman, dealings or relationship with an older man. I just saw dolphin, which is about financial gain, or a gain that you achieved because of something you did in the past. I also think of friendship and reunions. So there could have been this aspect of like, well, there's my friend, like popping up out of nowhere. We have angel, spiritual guidance and protection from harm. And that's truthfully, honestly, all of these major arcanic themes are really highlighting the fact that this person is still so heavily influenced by you, regardless of the circumstances of the disconnect. And this just highlighted their period of frustration. But the period of frustration that they're experiencing right now because of their attraction to you is just highlighting a lesson or an action that they're feeling inspired to take, that they're saying, I can't, I can't, I can't. But this opportunity with you is encouraging them to find solutions to that I can't attitude. Back of the deck says trouble or accusations. It's like if I'd taken action, I would have jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire when it comes to you. So it's like either way, they feel like they're suffering. What did they think and feel the last time that they saw pile number 1, please? Last time they saw you, we have here rekindle, wanting to rekindle connection, but feeling guilty because of position. There's remarkable reversed. As well, on the back of the deck, we have surprise. I feel like this kind of took them by surprise. Seeing you didn't feel planned to me. And there's an emphasis on justice in the gavel. It's like being worried that I'm taking the wrong step or I'm going to have to face a really bad consequence to my action if I rekindle any of these feelings. But the truth is that seeing you the last time that they saw you, all it did was spark up this, it just flared everything up that was still in place. It flared up their feelings for you. Let's get a couple of message cards here to see what was going through their mind. What was going through their mind, please, the last time that they saw Pile number 1. We were friends first and I really miss you. It's like we were friends in the past and I miss that friendship. It definitely doesn't feel like friendship now. I have no right to, but I get really jealous when it comes to you. So in that moment, even though if they have attachments, it didn't matter. If they saw you with attachments, it really riled up a jealousy here. Where have you been? Could have been perhaps a long time or a while since the two of you had seen each other. You deserve better than this. And they definitely put you up on a pedestal and say that they're not good enough for you, so to speak. But you may do the same thing to this person. I feel like they don't see themselves clearly. I'm thinking about the day that we met. So the last time they saw you got them sparked towards nostalgia about the very past, about the moment they met you. I want to fix it. First, I have to fix me. It's hard to see these in this light, isn't it? We also have 2 more here. Soulmates, is that what this is? And I gave you the impression that I did not care in that moment, but that was definitely a lie. So they acted unbothered, they acted cold, that was intentional. They were just trying to protect themselves in that moment. The truth is they feel like they have a lot of distractions in their life right now. And in that moment, you were kind of a welcomed escape. Sort of a welcome aspect of escape. You take my breath away. And I feel like it was a shock to them. I feel like you kind of knocked the wind out of them the last time that they saw you as well. And I don't think that any contact happened, or they really avoided you or something. Because I can't make the first move towards you. And you may have held back for the exact same reason. No one knows I still think about you. So they put on masks in that moment. They acted really unbothered, and they haven't spoken about it to other people. They've ruminated about it a lot. It says, I'm ready to act now. Like if this opportunity happens again, I'm going to say something, I'm going to do something regardless of conditions. Something is holding me back. And it was coming in reverse because I feel like they've resolved to create some sort of solution for the future if that ever comes to pass again. Something in that moment was holding them back. They say I couldn't come forward in that moment, but I would not make the same mistake twice. Let's get a charm bull, please, for pile number 1. What was the very last thought that they had about the last time they saw pile 1's person, please? We have the Queen of Wands reversed. A lack of confidence and no sort of preparedness. It's like I wasn't prepared to see you. They were also really thinking about you being angry or something. It's like there's Leo energy here for the Divine Feminine. Wondering what your perspective is, wondering if you wanted them to approach, wondering if you noticed them as well. And they were also thinking about this desire to eliminate all of these distractions and be able to return to the world, return to you. That moment for them, I feel like really was a benchmark in some respects to really reflect upon their position and whether or not they want to return to the world. So Spirit doesn't let anything go to waste, even little moments like that. We have the Queen of Cups, so Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, motherhood as well. We have the chain here. I think of Capricorn. I think of chains of events. I think about stuckness and codependency. We even have the dragonfly. So somebody, it's flipped over on his face. So it's like having to change directions and having to be hungry for success in order to achieve more here. And I don't know that they have that strength inside of them in this moment. We have the hospital, nursing connection here. We have full reversed, the letter S. We do have the siren here, the Divine Feminine being a temptation or a siren. The Wheel of Fortune, and we have the Fool. So somebody who thought that it was pretty risky to approach you in that moment and feeling like they have to take a leap of faith in order to create any solution. All right, pile 1, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it did, drop your comment below so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. Be sure to hit your notification bell if you do, however, and check your notifications if you've already dropped me a comment this month. And I'll be able to get the ball rolling for the most recent winner that has been notified on my channel. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pick a new name, so please be sure to check your notifications. You can also check out my links below for Etsy for personal reading and for Instagram, but be wary of an Instagram copycat that's trying to send DMs. I will not do that to people. I will not send unsolicited DMs, so be sure to protect yourselves. But I hope you come back here and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 2. You were drawn to the red flower or to the Page of Swords here, and this is your reading. The last time that your person saw you, what were their thoughts? What were their feelings at that moment? Now, the Page of Swords here, I think of student energy, so there could have been a history with education with this person. There's also an aspect of watching. So they could have been watching you from afar, or the last time they saw you could have been some sort of voyeuristic sort of energy here. You can see that this little page, he's sticking the sword down his throat. At first I thought it was a little horn, he was blowing a horn, but if you look really closely, no, he's sticking the sword down his throat, and he's actually dressed like a winged creature or like a fairy. And so they may have suppressed what they really wanted to say in that moment because they felt like it was wishful thinking to say anything about how they felt. So I feel like they were watching you, or they saw you perhaps even from afar, or from maybe across a parking lot or something along those lines. So let's take a look here and see. Oops. The last time that they saw you, pile number 2, what were they thinking and what were they feeling? We have the 5 of Swords, we have the 7 of Wands, and the 9 of Cups coming out already. So we're going to pair these together because they came out together. So we're going to keep them together. But we're already dealing with a lot of conflict, actually. Now, the 9 of Cups is about somebody who has a wish and a hope associated with you. It's somebody who has been longing for you, or has perhaps these assumptions even that there's something special about your connection that will bring the two of you together. There's just some sort of smug energy or wishful thinking surrounding the connection overall. And then they saw you and they were sort of hit with a bunch of realities or a bunch of obstacles or a bunch of internalized conflict because they were so overwhelmed by the opportunity that they didn't take it. It just feels like they couldn't say anything because they were trying to prioritize their own safety, and they felt like if they said something or approached you, it could blow up in your face and everyone's face, and no one would be a winner. So they acted super, super confident, and they were very calculated in the moves that they didn't take with you. You have the 10 of Cups. We have the Hanged Man. Back of the deck is the Death energy. And we have the 2 of Swords. It's almost like they're trying to turn their back on what was revealed to them in that moment. And I feel like they did see you perhaps even from afar. And for someone watching, and not for everyone, but for someone watching, you could have been with family, or you could have been with children. Like there was just people with you, or something about what they saw clarified your position or clarified for them the nature of the obstacles, which just flooded them with even more concerns or insecurities about revealing themselves to you. And so I feel like they didn't. I feel like they really surrendered to the opportunity of just a watcher position, because the Death energy is talking about this reality. It's like a turning point for them and for the connection and for what they feel like is possible. This 2 of Swords, the Knight of Wands, it's like I wanted to act with the Knight of Wands, but I stopped myself because I wanted to self-preserve. I wanted to protect myself. I wanted to protect you. I wanted to protect other people as well that may have been involved in that situation in that moment, because they were concerned about the opinions of other people. Because there's something about the last time that they saw you that added information about you, about your position, about the reality of the situation. And it's not that it's an insurmountable reality, whatever it is they've viewed, even if you were with children, even if you were with family, it's not that it's insurmountable. It's that it's going to prove to be difficult. And we often try to take the path of least resistance, and we try to avoid difficult things, but they immediately felt this urge to act when they saw you. It's like getting really excited with the Knight of Wands, because it's like, oh, my opportunity is here. Here's the Knight of Cups. My opportunity is here. But then having to be passive and hold back. Because it's like, well, what if I do act right now and I give in to my desires and I just say what I want to say? What are the consequences to me? We have the Empress. Now, if there are no other obstacles in place, if there are no other energies that they that are practically in place that are getting in the way. It's just this person's fear of you rejecting them. It's that they've put so much emphasis on you and on what you deserve, and on your position too is a big issue. Your beauty. They put you up on this pedestal. You have the Nine of Wands. But to be honest with you, as soon as I put down the Empress, I looked at this wheat, and spirits just started showing me when they used to thrash the wheat to separate it in the old days. I don't even know why they showed that to me. I've never done that before, but thrashing the wheat, it's like banging my head against the wall, because it's like I want the golden wheat here, but I have to put in a lot of hard work in order to achieve it. And so they held back. And honestly, I keep hearing, much to their chagrin, truthfully, because they acted really confident in that moment, seeing you. And perhaps they were aware that you saw them too, but they acted super confident when underneath they were really frustrated, to the point of like irritation. I almost feel like there's a bit of a jaded energy. It's like a chip on their shoulder. Because of like, I'm tired of holding back. I don't want to hold back. And it's, luck wasn't on their side in that moment. I feel like they wish that they could have caught you alone, for instance. And they were frustrated because that didn't happen. They couldn't catch you alone. And it's like they don't even have a right to be frustrated about the situation. But the truth is that they are. There's the Page of Swords. Because they're talking about how they learned something, or something was revealed to them in that moment, which caused them to have to maintain this watcher position. And there's something about, like, if I had, and this is going to sound perhaps might only make sense to one person, but it's like they were afraid of legal issues of some kind. They were to take action in that moment. It's like, ultimately this could send us into a legal situation. And that could even just mean divorces and things of that nature. But we have the Sun, and we have the Six of Swords with the Eight of Cups. They were not very satisfied with the overall interaction, if I'm honest. They weren't very happy about what did not happen, what was not said, the fact that they felt like they have to hold back. They found the whole situation very unsatisfying. And there's this aspect about no closures, like no clarity being offered between the two of you. And I'm going to have to wait for further clarity. I'm going to have to wait for another opportunity to see you again before I can actually take action, because they felt the necessity to hold back. And they're really frustrated by that. Really frustrated by that. They almost feel, though, in some sort of smug-like energy, that because they didn't say anything, they actually have some of the empowerment. It's like, I'm holding on to some of the strength. I didn't let my cat out of my bag. I didn't act out of turn. I carried myself well, and so I feel a little bit empowered with the fact that I controlled myself, or I didn't make a fool of myself in some way. So in some regard, they're trying to placate their own frustration by being like, well, at least I didn't make myself look foolish, in the very least. We have the King of Swords, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. There is an emphasis in this spread on family energy. And so there's this logical aspect to the last time that they saw you, and about how it's like a revelation of some kind was presented to them. Something was presented to them, some clarity was provided to them about the situation, and about the necessary steps that would have to happen before we could create more. Because they're still like waiting for another opportunity for clarity or for growth here. That's what they still feel like they're waiting for. What were their current thoughts and feelings the last time that they saw pile number 2? Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help to bring you closer together. Because this person was frustrated, because I feel like they're trying to conjure you up, or they're trying to manifest some sort of opportunity towards communication. And so they felt frustrated that it presented in the way that it did, because I don't feel like they were given the perfect scenario or the perfect circumstances in which to have a conversation with you or provide clarity. We have romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. And unrequited love. It comes out reversed. It's not, they felt unrequited in that moment. They felt really frustrated. And now they're going through the process of that natural consequence, forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. They are emphasizing that there may need to be a closure cycle in order for opportunities to open up in your connection. So they're emphasizing your position or their own position and having to walk away from an unfulfilling environment in order to create change. So that's where this is coming from. And ultimately, every opportunity towards growth is an opportunity for us to learn with the Page of Swords about what has to be done in order for new beginnings to be available to us. How did they feel and think the last time they saw situations in the balance that require careful handling and lobster financial pinch? Now, the lobster, I think about my person, and this person is definitely sort of possessive over you and thinks that the two of you are, I don't want to say belong together, but I feel like they hope that that's the case, that the two of you belong together. But seeing you the last time made them feel really, really vulnerable, like a lobster without its shell. And they knew that they had to be very careful with how they acted, with how they carried themselves. And so they were very careful, because otherwise they were afraid that somebody would lose face in a practical position. Someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change with the mule. And we have misunderstanding. We also have here broken bridge, unsuccessful outcome to a problem, because they didn't plan for this opportunity with you to manifest in this way. In their perfect world, in their perfect vision, it was no distractions, alone, and that wasn't what happened. And so they're frustrated. There's a stubbornness inside of them, which Spirit's trying to pierce with some logic, with some clarity. And again, I feel like they held back. And I also feel like perhaps what they viewed and what made them hold back for all wasn't necessarily the truth of the situation. It's like they were making assumptions, and that's what really flooded them with a lot of frustration because of the assumptions that they made. But because of the circumstances of seeing you in the way that they did, I feel like they were also, they went into it with a frustrated mentality. We have your Sacred Heart, passion, love, and spiritual communication, number 12. We ended with the Hanged Man because they felt like they just had to speak through the heart space and not actually speak vocally to you. In order to keep harmony intact. Power, self-confidence, and productivity. And we have lost love reversed, surrender, healing, and release. I don't feel like they have any intention of release, but that's, again, release of you, but they may have to make some adjustments in their practical realm in order to create clearances for growth. But I feel like they held back because they didn't want to make it obvious, or they didn't want to, they were trying to maintain the harmony for all involved. Despite the fact that they're really internalizing the fact that that created a disharmony for themselves. What were they thinking, please, towards pile number 2? You don't know how hard it was to let you go. You don't know how hard it was to hold back. I wonder if you're happy without me. And I know I messed up everything. So acting really confident, but feeling frustrated, perhaps even, again, trickling back to frustration with themselves, but still frustrated. I know that I crossed the line with you. Ooh. And I wish I could take back my words, but I honestly don't feel like for most watching that they said anything. They felt kind of empowered at the fact that they kept themselves, they clammed up and they kept their information to themselves. You came closer than anyone is on the back of that deck. What were they thinking the last time they saw pile number 2, please? Are these feelings mutual? So they're feeling confused. They were wondering if you were feeling the same way or if you were feeling as satisfied as they perceived. I wouldn't make the same mistake twice. If I get another opportunity like this, or if I could go back in time, I would be the one standing beside you. You might be my soulmate. Could you forgive me? Because you intimidate me and you always have. I just saw you make it easy to love you. I made a lot of wrong decisions when it came to you. And they are sort of kicking themselves for some of the passivity that they showed towards you in that opportunity as well. because now reality has hit me like a ton of bricks. So whatever they saw, that moment, that the last time that they saw, you added enough information to them that made them stand back and realize that maybe it was wishful thinking and hoping that there can be a rebirth in your connection, because they perhaps have perceived that you've moved forward in some way. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 2. What was the last thought that this person had about that last encounter with you? It's the last thought that entered their mind about this last encounter. Possessiveness. The reality hit them like a ton of bricks, absolutely. And it keeps showing me the vine, all this new information that they received in that moment, perhaps about your position, just something revelationary that kind of, or revolutionary, that really hit them like a ton of bricks, truly, that caused a lot of internalized conflict and made them wonder if it's worth the effort. It's like, should I put the effort in, or is it just going to blow up in my face because of the reality of the practical situation? And it could have something to do with the family or the home. We have heart. The heart space was affected. I also feel like there was only communication within the heart space. We have the forever friends, half of a puzzle piece here. So reunions with a friend. I think of the 6 of Cups. You are very highly thought of, and there's a little girl in the bowl too. So this could have been again, you could have gone to school with this person with the Page of Swords. You could have come of age with them. There could have also been children involved at the time of them seeing you in the very last time as well. We do have the butterfly. It looks like the half butterfly of transformation. And we have the two swans. I think of 2 air elements. So both of you could be air signs. So please take that as it resonates. But it's also about connection, somebody who wishes that they were in a relationship and could let you in on some of their thoughts as well. We also have Hello Kitty. Again, I think of little girls. So you could have been maybe with children or with a little girl. All right, pile number 2, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it did, please drop your comment below for a chance to win a free reading with me. Be sure to hit your notification bell as well if you do so that I can notify you if you're chosen the winner and we can get the ball rolling. You can also check out links below for Etsy for personal reading if you feel called to, or for Instagram. But I hope that you come and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 3. You are drawn to the little yellow flower or to the Temperance card, and this is your reading. What were they thinking and feeling the last time that they saw you? First of all, the yellow, I always think about courage, and I think about somebody who perhaps lacks a little bit of courage. We have the Temperance energy as well. Sometimes the Temperance can speak about longevity and have a sort of patience and being rewarded for patience at the end of the day. So they could have perhaps not seen you in a really long time, and then they were rewarded with this opportunity with you. But you can see here the Temperance, it's all about balance. It's all about alchemy too. So somebody who wishes to kind of mix together with you. So in that moment, really wishing that they could, but his legs are crossed. And he also looks like an angel. I think about the inability to commit or the inability to take some sort of action in that moment. So let's take a look here and see. What were they thinking and feeling the last time that they saw you? We have the Tower coming out first. And this particular Tower is kind of about confusion for me. It's like a shock. First of all, they weren't prepared for the opportunity to see you. And so it came in out of the blue kind of suddenly. And the Tower is supposed to come in to create an epiphany, to clarify, and to change everything. And in this case, it's like it came in and it sort of confused them a little bit. We have the King of Cups, the 6 of Pentacles. And I feel like it confused them because they almost felt like they had made some sort of headway when it comes to reflection, release perhaps. And then I feel like it flooded them straight back into an emotional connection. Like it made them feel really emotionally driven towards you. Now this person could be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. They could be a water sign. And the King of Cups is the most emotional of all of the kings. And so this person could be just a very emotional person and be kind of emotionally shocked to see you. You know, those moments where we get caught off guard. It's like looking at a ghost. And I feel like it confused them only in the sense of like, I thought I was over this. I thought that this person didn't have a hold on me anymore. It's like I thought I'd made some progress when it comes to rebalancing after this connection. But I just heard that Rain Maida line that says a phone call made me realize it was wrong, or this moment seeing you made me realize I was wrong. And I feel like time is a really big significant factor here. It could have been a year since the two of you have seen each other. I also feel like the opportunity may have been fleeting. Like the opportunity of them seeing you again may have not lasted very long either. We have the Star. And we have the Four of Pentacles. Oh, the last time that they saw you, pile 3, it made them realize that they haven't made as much progress as they thought they had. They thought it would be easier to walk away from this connection in the past. They thought that they had done such a good job at rebalancing, you know, because sometimes we'll be in a situation where we're like out of sight, out of mind. I can stay focused as long as something's not near me. It's like trying to quit smoking and trying to quit drinking and keeping alcohol in the house. It's really, really difficult to do that. And so they thought they'd made a lot of progress. And then out of nowhere, you appeared. Out of nowhere, you came in to test some of that progress, to test some of that balance, and they recognized they haven't completely committed to this new emotional start that they've tried to execute change within. Because the Judgment shows that the moment that they saw you again, the last time, it thrust them into this reflection period of like, okay, where have I gone wrong? Where have I gone wrong, and how can I rebalance that energy? We have the Five of Pentacles. There's a message coming through for someone watching that this person in the past always felt like they were kind of following you around. It's like they were following you, or they were pursuing you, and they eventually just gave up, or they eventually ran out of energy. It's like there was a lot of confusion between the two of you in the past, and I feel like they weren't confused about how they felt about you, and you weren't confused about how you felt about them, but you were confused about how you felt about yourself. And so you judged yourself so harshly that you were afraid to even open up to that person or anyone. And so, but they really internalized that as some sort of reflection of their worth, which was not the case. And they've carried some of that confusion with them into their new timeline. But they really thought that they had closed off that cycle. But then reality hit them like a ton of bricks. I'm just looking at the skull within this Tower energy and about how the transition and the grief felt fresh. Despite the longevity of the disconnect, it felt like fresh grief hit them. And it feels like a spark or an ember that was burning out, so much so that we couldn't even see the light, the glow of it anymore. And then it's like somebody opened up a door. They opened up a door. And all of a sudden that backdraft hit, and all of a sudden there's a huge flare up again of curiosity of you, curiosity of where this could go, curiosity of where it should have gone in the past. And all it did was like kind of thrust them back to an old timeline, because we have the Page of Wands, then we have the King of Wands. This person could be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or not Pisces, well, they could with the King of Cups, but they could be a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius as well. Because reality hit them like a ton of bricks, and it wasn't the reality that they thought that they would be hit with when they saw you again. Because they thought if they saw you again, they would feel secure in their position, they would feel confident with themselves, but seeing you again kind of shook all of that up. They recognize that they're kind of right back where you left them when it comes to curiosity, when it comes to want. When it comes to some of the fear associated with saying something too. And that's left them kind of frustrated with themselves and their own focus and their healing journey. And sometimes they'll turn that frustration towards the connection itself, because they just get so frustrated. Like, why am I holding on? It hurts me. There's a bandage around their head. It's like, it hurts me. And I just saw the Four of Cups as well. Because the Star energy is here, and you can see she's waist deep in water. And if you look really closely down below, even their legs look crossed. And so they're waist deep in this emotion now. When they thought that they had made progress on their healing journey, now they're back thrust waist deep in this emotion. It's like they took a step and they landed in a huge deep puddle. And that's frustrating them because they feel like it's messed up with their momentum here. We have the Two of Wands, we have the Two of Pentacles, and we have the Hermit. And ever since that day, I feel like they're holding on, but they're saying that you're holding on to them. It's like, you have a hold over me. And it's easier for me to just fantasize. I feel like now they could be watching you online. That could have prompted them to go looking online for you, or going down that rabbit hole as well, because now they're holding a space for you. This Hermit here, there's a focus that's now on you, and they're still holding space for you in this moment. And they're saying that I know I need to do something about this feeling eventually, whether it be continue my process of healing and release, or whether it is making some sort of adjustment here to create change. But they know it's going to take some really important practical baby steps, and it's going to affect the home realm. It's going to affect the practical realm. So they feel frustrated. We have the World and we have the Nine of Swords. And honestly, they keep overthinking about it too. It's like they're ruminating about it. They feel like there's unfinished business, and now there's like a risk associated with what they're feeling inspired to do, because they're feeling inspired to take some sort of action towards you, but they feel like their environment doesn't allow that. And so they're wondering what will be the consequence if they do take that risk. And there's the Ace of Pentacles, because they've been thinking about reaching out to you since that moment, especially online. I feel like they've been trying to keep tabs on you online, and I feel like they've been really wanting to reach out to you online, but they're waiting for a perfect opportunity, waiting for the confidence, because this Temperance says, I've been waiting for a new day. I just expected this new day to evolve or to arrive at a time where there was clearance for growth. And now I didn't realize that I had to be the force or the momentum to create that clearance, because the Spider over top of the Six of Pentacles says that we weave our own destiny. And if we find ourselves stuck in karmic loops or karmic relationships or anything that impedes the progress, we have to be responsible for moving ourselves out of that timeline. What were they thinking and feeling the last time they saw pile number 3, please? We have photograph. They've been looking at your photos, missing you, wanting to make new memories. Very nostalgic since that moment. But then there's the palm tree of stability, endurance, flexibility, growth. And it's like we can't have it both. I can't have the past and my present realm, my present investments. I can't have them both. So they're really stuck between that rock and the hard place. There is an emphasis on time. Need time, takes time, in time cycles, time to heal and progress. And they felt like they had made a lot of progress when it comes to you. But this moment made them realize they were wrong. Clock, need time, takes time. And heart with a key, welcoming love, meeting the one, opening your heart, getting together and perfect. And they had to hold back, here's lightning, they had to hold back that truth in that moment. So even if there were conversations, I don't think that they were heartfelt conversations, or they weren't open and honest conversations, because they held back their truth, whether it be practically speaking or emotionally speaking. They feel like they have to keep their feelings for you in a very private place, and they don't share that with other people. And then we have lightning, sudden change, shocking, upheaval, transformation, epiphany, because it came in with the Tower as your first position card. And this, it's like it came as a shock. I wasn't expecting to see you. I wasn't expecting to have this moment. I wasn't expecting to have the truth that I can't ignore about my healing cycle not being complete. What were they thinking and feeling the last time that they saw pile number 3, please? Fan, romance, celebration, and party. But hiding behind the fan as well. Teardrops, great personal sorrow, and someone is leaving your life reversed. The Chair. Now, there's an aspect here of personal sadness and reflection upon the loss and reflection upon the separation between the two of you, and the confusion that they feel that they still are experiencing that great personal sorrow about you being gone. Because they're like, I thought I was over this. I thought I'd moved forward here. We have temporary situation. And I just heard a house built in the sand. That's what I just heard. So that in reference to the tent, the temporary situation. It's like building myself a fortress to keep the elements out, but it's just a tent. It's just putting a band-aid on a situation and trying to avoid the conflict. That's what they've been trying to do in this connection since the past of this connection, is trying to just put a band-aid on it and avoid the feelings, as opposed to turning around and facing them head on. We have career being a factor. And we also have vase, secret admirer. I do feel like they are keeping tabs on you now. I feel like they're very sort of watchful over you. And we have love on the back of the deck, because the King of Cups puts a lid on that love and he feels it forever. What were their thoughts, please, for pile number 3, the last time that they saw pile number 3? I know that we're being spiritually guided. Like, I know that there's something special about this connection. Otherwise, we wouldn't have just seen each other. It's like they feel there's something magical that brings you both together in that moment. A serendipitous event. I pray about us. They may have felt like they conjured you up. I've thought about taking a trip with you. And don't focus on who wants me, I want you. So they've been fantasizing about action, about reaching out to you. There could be other people involved. I can't lie about that. For someone watching, there could be people on your end or people on their end. They're like, it doesn't matter about what the semantics are or what the obstacles are. It's like, I still want you. And that's just the reality of the situation. You gave me that spark. And there's the Ace of Wands. Out of the loss, out of the reality, the spark is still there. They perhaps act really confident, but there's something about the opportunity that is encouraging them to act. The thought of explaining myself and apologizing scares me. I don't want to see the pain I've caused in your eyes, on the back of that deck. What were they thinking and feeling the last time they saw pile number 3, please? Ooh, we got a bunch of explosions. This just doesn't feel right. I just saw I want a fresh start. Let's see what this one says. My feelings for you are my biggest secret. We will talk soon. This person feels like they have a lot of intent. So if this recently happened for you, or even in the last couple of months, Spirit says that this person is, for someone watching, this person wants to make contact. This is very painful. I stay away, but not because I want to. It feels impossible, but I can't give up completely. What were they thinking the last time they saw pile number 3, please? We could have had it all together, and we could have it all together. Oh, we've got, you are the only thing I lie about. And I want it to be me and you at the end of the day. We have a couple more here I just want to share with you. But is the risk worth the reward? And that's what this person's really weighing at this moment. Oh, you have a kind of an explosion in my hand. I just want to share with you some of these cards that are showing themselves. I will never stop hoping for us, but my feelings for you have to be kept a secret. And then that is what we have. But on the back of the deck, we have here, I want to start over. And that's exactly what the Temperance and the Judgment is speaking of. It's like, I want to find balance. I want a new fresh start. I want new beginnings. And I want peace when it comes to my new beginnings and my solutions. Because I don't feel like they're experiencing peace in this present moment. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 3. The very last thought that pile 3's person had since seeing them the last time. What has been their most pervasive thought? We have the 4 of Cups, the 4 of Wands reversed, the 9 of Swords reversed. Now, it's almost like they're thinking, it's like, I want freedom from this thought. I want freedom and solutions from this consistent agony because they keep going back to the past. It's like they're stuck in a loop and they're exhausted. And it is very agonizing to be in that constant thought process, but they feel so helpless on how to create change without creating arguments and conflicts within their environment, or arguments and conflicts within your environment. It's like there's just a reality in the 3D situation that they're worried about, which makes them feel helpless. It's not a helpless situation, it's just testing their resolve and testing their strength. Their strength and their ability to be able to face natural consequences. We have Q, questions, we have I will. And this person, I'm telling you, they have intent. We do have the empowered sea star here of Aquarius. We have the Temptress with the Mermaid. We do have the honeybee next to the honeycomb, and it's the 5 honeycombs that are cells that are empty. I think about 5 of Pentacles and separation. I think about karmic investments and fearing of practical or financial losses if we don't self-sacrifice what we want. But it's also talking about the sweet results that await us if we do. We have a Tree of Life, so there could be a family here. We have Sagittarius, and we have the High Priestess with the curled shell. We also have here the butterfly transformation reverse. So somebody who's afraid to really be open and honest with their transformation, and somebody who felt that they were complete with their transformation and have found out that they are wrong. We also have here the anchor of stagnation. All right, pile number 3, that's what I have for you today. I hope it resonates with you. If it did, please drop your comment below for a chance to win a free reading with me here on YouTube. Be sure to hit your notification bell if you do so, so that I can notify you if you're chosen the winner. And if you have recently left a comment and you pressed your notification, go back and check your notifications in case I have reached out to you as the winner. But you can also check out my links below for Etsy for personal reading. And I hope that you come back here and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage. And I hope you have a great day.